Hi everyone, my name is Crista and I am a student of the History 2001 class. Today I will be presenting a biographical PowerPoint presentation based on Don Jose Maria Chacon. Don Jose Maria Chacon was the last Spanish governor of Trinidad. He took office on the 1st of September 1783. He served 2 terms in office from 1783 to 1797. In a total, this was 13 years. As I said, he was the last Spanish governor of Trinidad. Chacon, who made the most significant development to Trinidad's population, was a commander, an administrator who settled disputes, and he distributed lands. He was appointed the governor of Trinidad and Tobago to ensure that institutions and other resources were managed and set up. The period between 1783 and 1797, the 13 years, is referred to as the golden years of Trinidad. Chacon's roles were also important as he pursued as governor of Trinidad and Tobago. It was his responsibility to be an administrator, to be a peacemaker, and to manage the colony's resources. However, as early as 1787, Governor Chacon reported that there were no agriculturists who formed the true population living in Port of Spain. As Chacon assumed office as governor, he found that products were limited. Chacon similarly instructed to promote agricultural productions. From 1777 to 1795, the value of commercial agriculture increased from 3,000 pesos to 1.5 million pesos. So as you can see, from his interest in the development of the agricultural sector in Trinidad, as it was a newly colonized island, if it wasn't for his interest in his roles of agriculture, Trinidad may not have been as successful as it was in the 1700s. So I believe that Chacon, his interest in agricultural production and the development of managing the resources was a key to the success of Trinidad, or as I said here, the golden age of Trinidad. So moving on from Chacon's roles as governor, here are some facts about Chacon's leadership qualities. Firstly, he influenced the cedula of population. The cedula population of 1783 introduced French colonists, free people, and African slaves to increase the population and the economics of Trinidad. In the cedula population, it transformed the demographics of Trinidad and the nature of society. Trinidad became a peculiar population mixed with immigrants, and it also became overpopulated with the French. Chacon actually favored for the settlement of foreigners to the island because he saw the need for populating, and he also used incentives, and he encouraged the French, the African slaves, the free color to inhabit Trinidad. Chacon's interest of migration developed Trinidad in the sector of agriculture and in society. So by 1783 to 1797, Trinidad was populated. But however, some historians argue Chacon's weakness was inviting or overpopulating Trinidad with too many French colonists, and also at that time the Spanish, which is also under Chacon, had a lack of military presence, and it made his role and his government at the time a target for the British and the French to take over and control Trinidad. The second point is the development of cities in Port of Spain, St. Joseph, St. Anne's and San Fernando. The development of the cities in Trinidad was very important because of the lack of resources that Chacon had to work with. He had to use his money. So Chacon used 1/3 of his own money to fund the projects in Trinidad. So he established villages in Sawa, which is known as Sawa, and the town of San Fernando. He also developed St. Anne's. He also developed Port of Spain and St. Joseph. He had few resources, like I said in the previous slide, and he took 1/3 of his income to develop the projects across Trinidad. So this map, if you look at it, you will see different points of where Chacon developed Trinidad: Port of Spain, St. Joseph, San Juan, San Fernando, etc. So this was actually another contribution that Chacon had with his leadership qualities and his role as governor. He developed Trinidad. He did not leave Trinidad to just be another colony like Haiti, for example. He developed Trinidad from, as you can say, nothing as a new colony. He developed towns and he used his own money to ensure that Trinidad became successful and it became a successful colony. It also showed that Chacon genuinely loved Trinidad. He actually loved being the governor of Trinidad. It showed that he took his role serious as a governor and as a leader. Okay, so here are some more facts about Chacon's experiences. He was faced with a lot of challenges, which included the influx of the French immigrants, the British invasion in 1797, riots, and lack of resources and trade. So the influx of the French immigrants was as a result as Chacon encouraged immigration or migration of the French people. Although Trinidad was a Spanish colony, the population was almost French, almost entirely French, and this was a problem as a lot of French colonists and rich people were coming who had power, so it became a problem. Another point was the British invasion in 1797. Abercrombie, or Sir Ralph Abercrombie, invaded and took the island of Trinidad on February the 18th, 1797. Within a few days, Governor Chacon, he surrendered the island to Abercrombie, and this is evident and this is seen in the articles of capitulation, which shows how the British took control of Trinidad and the surrender of Chacon. Trinidad or Chacon also had to deal with riots. As in this period, they were African slaves and they wanted their freedom, their rights. Also, the influence of Haiti played a part in the riots. So, African slaves in Trinidad and slaves in Trinidad were seeing what was taking place in Haiti, and they wanted their rights. They wanted to do the same. Lastly, the lack of resources and trade was also very challenging for Chacon as well. So the agricultural production in Trinidad was limited and there wasn't much produce. Also, Trinidad did not have any trade relations at the point before 1783. After Chacon came and he developed different resources, and he developed different systems. Trinidad became a major trading partner, as in later in Trinidad's history, they were one of the key colonies for sugar production, cocoa, tobacco. They were producing a lot. So figure 4 shows the Spanish fleet on fire, blockade by the British fleet in Chaguaramas Bay in 1797. So this is just a picture showing of what took place on the day. Although he was faced with challenges, Governor Chacon also contributed to Trinidad. For example, the development of towns such as San Fernando, San Juan, Port of Spain, St. Anne's. He also contributed to the population. As he followed the cellular population, he was able to increase Trinidad's population by 1797. So there was a mixture of races and peoples in Trinidad by 1797. He opened businesses and institutions, banks. He also looked at education, agricultural production, and economic activities. So even though he was faced with challenges, and even though he had to surrender to British rule, he contributed to Trinidad. He saw the potential Trinidad had, and he worked on every aspect. He worked on infrastructure, he worked on the population, he worked on production, he worked on trade, businesses. So Chacon really invested in Trinidad. He was a great governor, a great Spanish governor. This is the end of the presentation, but I would like to refresh your memory on the information we learned today. So to summarize, we learned about Chacon as the last Spanish governor, his roles and contributions to Trinidad's development, the challenges he endured during his 2 terms in office, and his legacy in Trinidad's history. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day.